Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today you will be cooking with Tiana Vibe. Today, we will be making a creamy vegan style chickpea soup. Make sure you stick with me to the end because this is a recipe you don't want to miss. First, we're going to make sure we have our onion, garlic, and mushrooms. Now you see I got it chopped up in a plate and ready to go. You don't have to dice it so much because everything will be blended afterwards. I also have a bunch of broccoli and tomatoes. And right here I have my 2 cans of chickpeas. So first we're going to start by putting some olive oil in our hot pot. So right here I have my hot pot, which is an iron pot. This is a good strong pot. You see I used the hell out of it. So first I throw in my onions, garlic, and mushrooms and let it simmer in the pot. I'm gonna let that simmer for a while until, it's nice and soft and sauteed in there. And then when you feel like it's good and ready, give it a few minutes and then you start to throw in your tomatoes and broccoli. After you throw your tomatoes and broccoli in the pot, you want to let that simmer down too. Let it cook for a little while because you don't want it to be raw. You want it to, get all nice and sauteed in the pot, just like you did with the onions and the garlic and the mushrooms. And give that some time. Just let the broccoli cook down a little bit. And as soon as you see that that is good and ready for the next step, then the next step would be to throw in your chickpeas. But before we throw in our chickpeas, we're going to make sure we rinse it because it is coming out of a can. I like to rinse everything that come out of a can. I don't care. Not only that, but it's gas in the beans, so get some out. So we rinsed it off just with some water, and now we throw it in the pot. And then we let that get in there and mix it in and get sauteed just like we did with everything else. Alright, this is a very easy, delicious recipe. And it doesn't take too much time. It's a full course meal. You got your protein, your vegetables. You just can't lose. You throw in all your good herbs and spices and vegetables. Mix it up. Don't overcook it because that's the last thing you want to do. Alright, you're going to make sure that everything gets the proper amount of time. Just watch it, okay? I'm sorry, I'm not great with time, but I know that when you simmer some onions, it gets soft. When you simmer some broccoli and some tomatoes, it gets soft. Just pay attention and make sure you're standing over the pot because this shouldn't take no more than 30 minutes to complete the whole thing. And if it does, then it shouldn't be too much longer than that. All right, everything, the beans is already cooked because it's in the can ready to go. So all you got to worry about is making sure your vegetables is well done. So now the next step we're going to do is, okay, I know I told you this is a vegan recipe. All right, I'm sorry, I lied. This right here is some chicken gravy that I had from last night's dinner. That's what I'm going to throw in there because it was so good. I'm like, I'm not wasting this gravy, man. That chicken was the bomb. Okay, so I used that gravy and I threw it in with my broccoli, tomatoes, chickpeas, onions, garlic, and mushrooms. So now I'm going to mix that in the pot. Let that get all good and, mixed up together like one big happy family. But don't get me wrong, you do not have to use no chicken or meat broth or gravy or anything like that. You serious vegans don't have to break the rules. Stick with the program. It's gonna be delicious regardless. After adding all our ingredients, we're gonna add water to it. And then we're gonna let it boil out for a while. We're gonna give it some time to boil, maybe turn our fire up a bit and give it a good maybe 20 minutes. But make sure you cover your pot. It is very important to cover your pot because you got a lot of vitamins in here that you want to be covered up, and making sure that it's all simmered in and you're not making a good old vegan meal just to defeat the purpose by letting your vitamins out. Cover your pot. It is important, very important. But before you cover your pot, what we're going to do is add some seasonings to it. We're going to start with our adobo. Then I'm going to use some of my Greek seasoning. This stuff is good, y'all. You should try it. Next step, garlic. Can't go nowhere without the garlic powder. Then we're going to use our turmeric. This is some good stuff. It also has a lot of health benefits. Look it up. Then we're going to add our Lari seasoned salt. Don't add too much. Just use your good judgment. Good judgment makes the best chefs on earth. Trust and believe. They didn't all go to school for this. It's just a gift from God. Good judgment. That's all you need. And that'll take you places. Trust and believe. Simple. Now we're going to add some oregano because this is a good seasoning to put in whatever, your soups, your meats. It makes everything taste better. Everything. And while you at it, don't forget the parsley. And the next seasoning right here, this is thyme. Don't you ever tell me that you don't have time to put some thyme in your meal. Because that means that you ain't trying to make it taste good. Thyme makes everything taste good. Everything. You gotta put your fresh green herbs, thyme, cilantro. Come on now. These are the ingredients that we need to survive in these times. Not only because these are herbs that can actually save your life, but it makes your food taste good. So why not cook with a purpose? You know what I'm saying? You get the best of both worlds. A good tasting meal, and it's healing you at the same time. And if you don't believe me, do your research. I'm not trying to sell my ingredients. Look it up. Do your research. Okay, now after you throw all your good stuff in the pot, you cover it up, let it bubble up, give it some time. Wait till it starts thickening up, and then you will know that it's time to shut it off. And when you shut it off, this is the fun part. We're going to start throwing the stuff in a blender and blending it. First, we're going to take the thyme out before we blend it and pick up all the food, throw it in the blender with our big spoon and blend it. After it blends nice and creamy, we're going to throw it back in the pot just to hold it because we're done cooking it. We're just going to make sure that we blend all the hard, chunky parts of the food and throw it in the pot to hold it. After we blended all the chunks, this is the bottom liquid part of our pot. We don't have to blend anything over here. So we just pour it back in our blended portion and we mix it all in. And there we have it. Our nice, creamy chickpea soup is done. Y'all see that right there? So now we got some nice, creamy, healthy, delicious chickpea soup. So quick, so simple. And if you feel like my recipe is a little too healthy for you, throw a little butter in it. It's still all good, you know? It's still all good. But don't overdo it. You know, you see this is a big pot. I put a little butter in it for the nice, buttery, salted flavor. Not salty, but salted. And that's it. Now it's ready to eat. Nice, creamy, smooth, delicious chickpea soup. Now, if you like my recipes and you like what I'm doing here, then come on, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Okay? And I will try everything in my power to keep having y'all with regular, delicious recipes to keep y'all coming back. I promise. I'm not selling y'all a dream. I'm here for y'all, all right? I got y'all. Not only that, but if there is anything that you would like for me to cook here on this channel, then leave it in the comments and I got y'all. Bye, guys.